Okay Groovers, it's time to get active with Earth Sanctuary travel and let's visit Kakadu National Park in the top end of Australia. Woohoo!
It's around about 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm here in Darwin, the top end of the Northern Territory, Australia. And I'm about to jump on an adventure tours, a U-Beauty extravaganza to Kakadu National Park up here in the very top end of Australia. It's the tropics. I'm here with Annie Rose. And it's very exciting. We've got a bit of a journey ahead of us, covering hundreds of kilometres and going to some very untouched parts of the world. Let's get on with it. See you guys soon.
Our journey into Kakadu National Park would not be possible without this four-wheel drive truck. Get ready for the ride, superstars. The Aboriginal people of Kakadu are known as Bening or Moongoy. Both are similar to the English word man, and depending on the context can mean man, male, person, or Aboriginal people. Balanda means non-Aboriginal people. Before entering Kakadu National Park, it's important to be welcomed by the traditional owners themselves, the spiritual people who work at one with the land. The name Kakadu comes from an Aboriginal floodplain language called Gagaju. Although languages such as Kakadu are no longer regularly spoken, descendants of these language groups still live in Kakadu today. Kakadu is a living cultural landscape. Generations of Bening Moongoy have lived on and cared for this country for tens of thousands of years. Their spiritual connection with the land is globally recognised in Kakadu's World Heritage listing, which honours one of the oldest living societies on Earth. The Bening Moongoy believe that during the creation time, important ancestral beings known as the First People journeyed across the landscape, creating the features and landforms, plants, animals and the generations of Bening Moongoy who we see today. The land and its people have always been linked. In our journey into Kakadu National Park, we got to experience some of the cultural practices that were carried out by the local people for thousands of years. This includes spear throwing, playing didgeridoos, and looking around at the different plants, flora and fauna to get an idea of what survival was like in these amazing regions. And here's Annie fine-tuning her spear throwing techniques so we can gather food for the rest of our journey. You little beauty! Covering nearly 20,000 square kilometres, Kakadu is one of the very few places World Heritage listed for both its cultural and its natural values. Its enduring natural values stem from its exceptional beauty and unique biodiversity, its variety of landforms, habitats and wildlife. The protection and conservation of biodiversity is an important part of the management of this special place. Kakadu is home to 68 mammals, almost 1/5 of Australia's mammals, more than 120 reptiles, 26 frogs, over 300 tidal and freshwater fish species, more than 2,000 plants and over 10,000 species of insects. It provides habitat for more than 290 bird species, which represents over 1/3 of Australia's birds. Its internationally important wetlands are a major staging point for migratory birds. Some of these species are threatened or endangered. Many are found nowhere else in the world, and there are still others yet to be discovered. The creation ancestors gave Bening Moongoy a kinship system linking people to all things and the cultural responsibility to look after them all. They have always understood the biodiversity of country, and their traditional ancestral knowledge is a vital part of managing Kakadu's rich environment. Now, believe it or not, this is the dry season, so what can we expect to find at this time of the year? Well, crocodiles. Crocodiles are the world's largest living reptiles. They are also one of the most ancient, having existed unchanged for nearly 200 million years. There are more than 20 types of crocodilians in the world. 2 species occur in Australia, the freshwater and the estuarine or saltwater crocodile. Estuarine crocodiles are also found in India, Southeast Asia and Papua New Guinea. Often called salties, they live in freshwater and estuarine areas such as floodplains, billabongs, rivers and coastal waters. Between the 1940s and 1960s, crocodiles were hunted to near extinction for their skins. By 1971, both species were fully protected. The estuarine crocodile population has recovered dramatically, and they continue to move further inland into freshwater rivers, billabongs and creeks in search of new territory. Now, let's take a look at some ancient rock paintings. To the local Aboriginal people, they referred to the spirits known as Mimi as the first of the creation ancestors to paint on rock. They taught some of the Bening how to paint, and other Bening learned by copying Mimi art. At the end of their journeys, some creation ancestors put themselves on rock walls as paintings and became dreaming places. Some of these paintings are sacred and dangerous and can be seen only by senior men or women. Others can be seen by all people. Kakadu's rock art represents one of the longest historical records of any group of people in the world. More than 5,000 art sites tell of the creation ancestors and the changes in the landscape over thousands of years. Now, Bening Mungoi artists continue to paint on bark, paper, canvas and fabric. In some cases, the act of painting puts artists in touch with their creation ancestors and their spiritual belonging. The act of painting is generally more important than the painting itself, so many older paintings are covered by younger ones. We often see the use of red, white and yellow ochre, which is mixed with all sorts of different fluids for their paintings. Now, as we make our way slowly into the heart of Kakadu National Park, it's hard not to appreciate the true intensity of this beautiful region. To the local Aboriginal people, they often refer to the Rainbow Serpent stories. These are very powerful ancestors known by many Aboriginal groups throughout Australia. The Rainbow Serpent played an important role in the conception of Bening and Mungoi and their cultural obligations to care for country. She is also part of the life cycle of plants and animals and the seasonal changes. The many stories and sites associated with the Rainbow Serpent are often linked to water and places where she travelled across the country, leaving behind features in the landscape. Bening Mungoi believes she is still present today, resting and should never be disturbed. Now, there's no great adventure on this planet unless a few things go wrong, and in this case it's time to change a tyre as we get ready to head into some of the greatest waterfall regions on the planet. Now get cracking team, because we've got some serious four-wheel driving to do. Woohoo!
On you there, Groovers. We're on day 2 of the Kakadu four-wheel drive adventure here in the top end of Australia, the Northern Territory, and it's about 8 in the morning. We're about to head to Jim Jim Falls and Twin Falls in the heart of the Kakadu rainforest. We've just had to do a bit of a fix on the back left inside tyre, bit of a fuck up, but it's now repaired, and we're all keen to have a bit of a swim. It's around about 34 degrees in the morning. It's getting pretty hot. It's in the tropics, very moist, and we're keen to get going. So it's going to be a cracker of a day before we get back to Darwin later on. We've had a nice night's sleep in the rainforest, and it's been raining. Stars were out this morning, Orion was up there, and it's time to get going. See you guys soon.
Now, four-wheel driving in the heart of Kakadu National Park is a little bit like a mechanical rodeo. You just got to strap yourself in and hope for the best. But along the way, you get to see some incredible things. Just like this lone dingo cruising along on his daily stroll. But before too long, we're at our first river crossing. We had to do some crocodile safety checks first, and we're on our way to Twin Falls, one of the most pristine water systems of Kakadu National Park. Just take a look at the intense energy and biodiversity of this incredible World Heritage region. On the next transmission, we enter some of the greatest waterholes on the planet. Stay tuned to Project Bluestar, and we'll see you all in a blink.